Naptown is holding its collective breath right now. We all remember the absolute roller coaster that dragged this fan base through the mud late last winter. Our squad looked totally unstoppable before the injury bug swallowed the roster whole. Now the guys pulling the strings at West 56th Street are sending a loud message to the rest of the league. They are betting the entire farm that our magical start was real. Serious money just got locked up to keep our offensive engine running. But the hot seat is getting incredibly warm for the guys running the show. Colts fans, the front office has just made a monumental declaration, signaling their unwavering belief in the core that ignited our incredible run last season. The Indianapolis Colts have officially signed quarterback Daniel Jones to a 2-year, $88 million contract, retained wide receiver Alec Pierce on a significant 4-year, $114 million deal, and agreed to a 2-year, $44 million extension with our star running back Jonathan Taylor. This powerful trio was the engine behind our electric 8-2 start, where Jones was playing the best football of his career, Taylor was performing at an MVP level, and Pierce had transformed into one of the league's most dangerous deep threats. That offense at times looked unstoppable, averaging nearly 30 points and 6.3 yards per play. These aren't mere roster adjustments. This is general manager Chris Ballard and the Colts saying unequivocally that last season's early dominance was sustainable, not a fluke. As fans, we're feeling a surge of both optimism and a healthy dose of trepidation, knowing the immense stakes involved after witnessing the collapse that erased our promising start. What nobody is talking about, though, is the inherent gamble built into these commitments. While we celebrate this bold statement, the biggest question now looms. Can this core stay healthy enough to deliver on the massive investment, or will injury once again undermine their potential? This massive commitment makes health the ultimate wild card. The front office has wagered heavily, banking on player resilience and effective recovery. Should injuries resurface, the fallout will be catastrophic. Super Bowl aspirations crumble. Immediate organizational changes, even a full rebuild, could quickly follow. The pressure is immense. This isn't merely a vote of confidence in talent. It's a desperate, high-stakes gamble to erase the humiliating memory of a truly devastating collapse last season, seeing our Colts become the first team since the 1995 Raiders to start 8-2 and shockingly miss the postseason. That unparalleled nosedive stemmed directly from an onslaught of critical injuries, notably Daniel Jones's season-ending Achilles tear, which abruptly halted the best football of his career and forced the team to cycle through Phillip Rivers and Riley Leonard at quarterback. Adding to the depth of injury, wideout Alec Pierce's ankle surgery placed him on the active PUP list to open camp. And even defensive stalwart DeForest Buckner is recovering from neck surgery, illustrating the broad impact of injuries. What makes this even bigger is the palpable pressure bearing down on our leadership. General manager Chris Ballard, now entering the final year of his contract, has publicly stated the simple truth. The Colts need to win. A directive undoubtedly shared by owner Carly Ursay-Gordon. Likewise, head coach Shane Steichen is heading into his 4th season without a playoff appearance, rendering another late-season breakdown utterly unacceptable. From their perspective, the early season dominance, where the offense averaged nearly 30 points and 6.3 yards per play, wasn't just a fleeting moment. It was a sustainable blueprint, provided the essential components can remain healthy. They've demonstrably bet their careers on the belief that a fully cleared Daniel Jones, an MVP-level Jonathan Taylor, and a restabilized defense that, last year, surrendered 4,462 passing yards, the second most in the NFL, can rediscover that early magic. The club is clearly convinced that the version of the roster that overwhelmed opponents before the injuries mounted is ready to compete with anyone. Alright, let's turn our attention now from simply understanding the news to dissecting what these monumental commitments truly signify for our Indianapolis Colts moving forward. This matters right now because these aren't just contracts. This is the explicit financial and strategic blueprint of our team for the foreseeable future, unequivocally cementing an offensive identity built around these 3-star players. The immediate impact on our roster and salary cap is profound. By dedicating such significant capital, $88 million for Daniel Jones, $114 million for Alec Pierce, and $44 million for Jonathan Taylor. General Manager Chris Ballard has made a clear statement about where the investment lies, likely limiting flexibility in other areas of the roster in upcoming free agency periods. And I'll be straight with you. This means less cap space to aggressively pursue top-tier defensive free agents or depth, forcing a reliance on strong drafting and player development to fill other needs. For our upcoming games, this solidifies the offensive playbook. Opponents will prepare for a scheme centered on Jones's mobility, Taylor's ground dominance, and Pierce's downfield threat, knowing exactly who to scheme against, but also knowing the formidable challenge they represent when healthy. This shift significantly impacts our standing against AFC South rivals and our playoff chances. It's a declaration to the Texans, Titans, and Jaguars that the Colts are doubling down on offensive firepower, believing this core, when on the field, can outscore anyone. It raises our ceiling substantially, provided the health concerns are mitigated, fundamentally improving our playoff odds by establishing a high-floor offensive unit that proved it could overwhelm defenses last season. For Indianapolis Colts fans, the strongest argument for these significant new agreements is built on the undeniable belief in a proven, high-octane offensive identity that, when healthy, truly overwhelmed opponents. Our leadership, by committing to Daniel Jones, Alec Pierce, and Jonathan Taylor, is betting on the deep synergy these three developed during their initial dominant stretch, expecting even greater efficiency and a comprehensive understanding of the playbook as they continue to grow together. This strategic investment represents a clear vision for the team's future, providing stability and rewarding a core that demonstrated its capacity for prolific scoring. And that changes everything. However, the profound risk, the constant apprehension gripping our fan base, centers squarely on their collective health. We've painfully witnessed how quickly a promising season can unravel when key players face significant health issues, and the sheer magnitude of this financial commitment means any recurring season-altering injury could have truly catastrophic consequences, not just for a single season, but for the entire competitive window we hope to open. NFL analysts and observers across the league are widely calling this one of the riskiest yet potentially most rewarding moves of the offseason. Many are questioning whether the tremendous pressure on general manager Chris Ballard and head coach Shane Steichen led them to overpay for potential, rather than reliable production, considering recent medical histories. They're scrutinizing whether other roster needs, particularly on defense, might suffer due to these massive outlays. The way I see it, while the gamble is immense, it was an absolutely necessary one. After seeing that electrifying offensive capability, simply standing pat or making smaller moves wouldn't have been enough to recapture that magic or satisfy a fan base hungry for a return to contention. When we synthesize the news of these monumental contracts with the deeper implications for our future, a clear direction for the Indianapolis Colts emerges, signifying a profound, long-term commitment to a specific offensive philosophy. This isn't merely